But Nietzsche had a way to dig himself out. He used humor. He laughed at himself. And he lived to overcome his outlook or his inlook, his perspective, by re-evaluating the values that gave him his perspective in the first place, which he was sounding out, as with a tuning fork, to test these ideals against what he felt was the reality of his existence. And he found the spirit of life in the stomach. If one could stomach this, despite what? The suffering. And so it's amazing that his first book, without any footnotes or whatever, the birth of tragedy out of the spirit of music, really set the stage for his dynamics in which he would overcome his conditioning to forge ahead into and to become what he was, who he was. So at this point, he was living by himself for the most part, dealing with his own cultivating ideal, suffering from depression, suffering from headaches, and so forth and so on. But at the same time, liberated with an ecstatic type joy he was finding and communicating to those that he was calling the tragic philosophers that he was anticipating coming on the scene. Those who would not necessarily recognize one another, but would understand intuitively from the release of their own pent-up, stored-up instinct to overcome this inability to discharge and allow themselves to be, and to be with a good conscience rather than a guilty conscience about being themselves. So that's what Nietzsche's driving at, is finding yourself, being yourself, by re-examining yourself, re-evaluating your values, and recreating your values that you believe in. So we come to the tragic philosopher or Zarathustra's ape. It may be hard to say or easy, depending on how you look at Nietzsche's philosophy or whatever. It's not so much, okay, this is it, here are the tenets, here is what it really means, and we're going to expound upon it. No, I'm using it in my own life as a therapy to test against these models of the great health and the decadence and the affirmative, the Dionysian, who can stomach this despite the intrinsic suffering, pain, and loss of what this is, which could be one of the driving reasons that we must invent other places than this, because this can be a hell of a place. It is a hell of a place. It is the place. And I think that's what Nietzsche was trying to do, was he was trying to summon a new meaning for the earth and to rally on the troops. Us, we, you, me, him over there, tragic philosophers who can stomach this.